Let's get right to it. Let's cut her open right here, and we will open this up. Let's get rid of this. Those of you that follow my channel know that I had some serious issues on a video, and I'll link it right here, with this microphone system. This is the Azden VM-PRO, the microphone I'm using right now for this video. I have since figured out what did cause that audio interference, all that static, and it has to do with the fact that I use my cell phone as a primary camera, and it was the cell signal, the Wi-Fi signal, or the Bluetooth signal, one of them, was causing some radio interference with this system. This is a VHF system. Since then, I reached out to a couple companies and see if they'd be willing to let me test their microphone against this Azden systems, and one company did, and I have a box right here that I did receive. We're going to open it right now and check out what's in this box. Let's get right to it. Let's cut her open right here, and we will open this up. Let's get rid of this. And this is the wireless microphone system from Yelangu. They did send me this at no cost so I could test it and do a full review. We will be doing a totally honest review of this microphone system pitted against the Azden microphone in outdoor situations to check the clarity, the distance, and any type of radio interference that there might be with these systems. But let's open this up and see what's in the box. There's a manual, and it's set. This is a 2.4 gigahertz system, and the manual, as it's laying in the box, is in Chinese. On this side, it is in English. So there's the full instructions on how this works. A warranty card. There's cables. I see there's two in here, one for the TRS and one for the TRRS, depending on your needs or the individual needs, and mine are actually both. I sometimes use a camera, either the GoPro or my Fujifilm, and that's when I need the TRS cable, and then if I'm using my smartphone connecting this, that's when I need the TRRS cable. So both of those are in here. Here's a USB to micro USB charging cable, a second USB to USB micro charging cable, a lavalier microphone. I may test this along with the one that I'm using right now in the systems to see if one is louder or quieter than the other. Here we have this is the receiver unit. And there's a place for headphones for monitoring, alternate input, and there's our charging right there. And this is the transmitter. It does have a built-in microphone right there along the top. And there's a mute button, it looks like. It looks like this might be a link button to link it. And then there's our charging, microphone input, and auxiliary input. Power these up. This is flashing blue, so if I power up the other one, I believe they should sync up. Yeah, and then that blue line stays solid, so you know that they're on and synced. These do have the clips, so they will clip on, just like the other more famous system that's available, that a lot of people use. Or you can use the lavalier mic. These clips, this is really clever. I thought this was really clever, and pretty much all of these little microphone devices have the same thing. These clips will actually lock right into a hot shoe or a cold shoe. So you can either clip it on, you can use the clip to clip this on something, or you can slide this right into a shoe and it'll mount. I grabbed my GoPro to show how these will mount up. This is the receiver, and it'll mount right on that hot shoe, right like that. Then the cable could come off and plug into the port on the GoPro right there. So come off here and plug right in for sound. Enough of the unboxing. Let's go out and see how these perform. It's a windy early spring day here in Port Huron, and I thought today would be a great day to do our outdoor test and distance test of this Yelangu microphone. Now I'm going to show you the setup we're going to use and the steps we're going to go through to test this microphone. This is the setup that I have. I have my Fujifilm camera set up with a Comica mic, then I have a GoPro set up, and I have the Yelangu mic piped into the GoPro, and that will provide the one soundtrack for the Yelangu mic. This holder will hold my iPhone, which is what I'm filming with right now, and plugged into this, I have my Azden Pro wireless Pro mic plugged in. For those of you that watch my channel, you remember that I took Michelle, my wife, to Hell for Valentine's Day. That's Hell, Michigan. And we had a terrible time with this microphone. It received all kinds of static, and we had a lot of issues with it. And it turns out that the problem that I had with it is the fact that I used my iPhone. I didn't have the iPhone set into airplane mode, and it was picking up all kinds of wireless signals and creating all kinds of static and havoc. It's my hope that this Yelangu mic with its 2.4 gigahertz signal will eliminate any potential static or problems that we have. It's my understanding, though, that these 2.4 gigahertz systems, while they're clearer and crisper, unlike me speaking, clearer and crisper, that they don't transmit as far, or the signals don't go as well through the human body. So what I have done, what I've set up, and again I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see. What I've set up is I have a couple different microphones on me. I have the black microphone is being fed into the Yelangu, and the red dead cat, the little dead cat I made on this lav mic, is going into the Azden Pro system. So we're going to have a control that way. We're going to see which one works better for distance. I'm going to measure out 100 feet, and we're going to use that as our measuring distance. So out this way behind me towards that tree, I'm going to measure out 100 feet, 30 meters roughly, that we're going to go. And we'll see how well these various microphones perform. Let's get the tape measure set up, and we're going to start our test. You need to know this is actually the second time I'm doing this test. The first time, for some reason, one of the three audio signals didn't come through. Something was hooked up wrong somewhere. So I'm trying this again on a different field and a much windier time of day. Unfortunately, I took the SD card out of my Fujifilm camera that has the Comica mic plugged into it. I forgot to put the SD card back in, and my book of SD cards is at home in my brand new studio and not with me in my camera bag. This is going to be something new to remember, that I'm no longer keeping everything that I have in this camera bag. But we're still running the two microphones that we want to test on this. We've got the Yelangu mic, which I have right here wired onto myself, into the GoPro, and we have the Azden mic wired into the iPhone. I've checked them both, they're both recording, and I've hooked up monitors to both, and I have audio signal in both. So let's start to back up a little bit. Let's see how far we can go. And the writing on this tape is really small. So this tells me I am at 5 meters away from the cameras. So we're going to check the sound. We're going to turn around and see if anything goes through my body, and if that causes any kind of difference in the signal. Probably help with a wind noise that way. Let's go back even further. Let's find 10 meters on this. 7, 8, 9, 10. I am now 10 meters from the cameras, and again we're going to do the same test. We're going to turn, we're going to face the other direction and see if that changes the signal at all coming through. So that's at 10 meters. Let's go to 15. 11, 12, 13, 14, almost to 15 meters. We are now 15 meters from the cameras, and I realize I keep using my outdoor voice because I'm so far from you, and I don't need to do that because the microphones are right here, right on me. So I'm 15 meters away, and again, we're going to turn so that we're facing, our back is to the camera. The wireless systems have to go through me, and now to the front. Let's go back to 20. 17, 19, 20 meters. There is 20 meters. I'm now 20 meters from the cameras, and again with the two wireless systems projecting. Let's turn, put our back to the camera to see if that makes any difference at all in the sound coming through. And now we're going to back up to 25 meters and then to 50. Now we're at 25 meters away from the cameras, and again I'm facing the cameras, which is putting the wind right on me. I'll try to block the wind a little bit, maybe get rid of a little wind noise. My hope is to not do any EQ on these signals at all. I may need to do some leveling to make sure we have an equal output. It all depends on what these look like, or on the waveform when I see them in the editing software. But the idea is to provide an absolutely fair and unbiased review on both these microphones, specifically the Yelangu. So let's turn our back and face away. And so now my back is to the cameras and I'm talking, and facing this way, I'm just going to walk the final all the way to 30 meters, and that's right here, and that's the end of my tape. Now I'm turning again facing the cameras. I'm 30 meters away, and hopefully the sound still works. I'm going to do an additional test. We're going to do the same lengths with not the lav mic hooked up to the Yelangu. I'm just going to put the microphone on me. I'm going to tuck it up inside my shirt, the built-in mic that's on the system, so that we can see then the mic signal will have to be going through my chest, my body cavity, rather than just through my leg. But let's go ahead, let's back up a little further. It's going to be hard for me to judge any kind of distance at all, but we'll just keep going back and we'll see how far we go before we start getting a lot of static in that signal. If that was 30 meters, my guess is I'm at least 50 meters away right now from the cameras. I'm probably itty-bitty on those, and this is probably as far as anyone would ever use these mics for any kind of vlogging situation. So let's approach back. We're going to walk, and I'll mark the distances as I get closer. And again, I'm just trying to block the wind to reduce a little bit of the wind noise on this. And there I'm at 30 meters. Boy, the type is so small in this thing, and you know, my eyes are almost 60 years old to see this. So here we are at about, as soon as I can spot one, 20 meters. And again, a little closer, that's about 15 meters right there. And I know the sound is working really well at this stage. So let's shut these off, and we're going to do the additional test with the Yelangu mic and just without the lav on it. So this is the sound out of the Yelangu mic, and again, let me take this off. This is still hooked up and is still recording, so we can do a test in either one. But this is the sound of the Yelangu mic. I do have it tucked up under my shirt to help block some of the wind noise, but it's the only, or you can hear it right there. So let's start backing up. Let's see if it makes any difference as we go, and then across my body. So let's just go straight. Tell you what, I'm going to walk with my back to the camera, and here we go. Meters. 11 meters. I'm at 16 meters right here from the cameras, and I'm not really sure how the sound is working. I do know that with interference, I tried this before, and in the studio it happened when this mic got really close to the Yelangu transmitter, it picked up some of that cell phone signal noise. Let's keep going back. I'm at 20 meters from the cameras, and again, the Yelangu mic without the lav, using the built-in microphone on this Yelangu. Let's turn back to the camera and back to the front, and let's go to 25 meters. This is 25 meters. Again, I'm facing the cameras direct with the Yelangu mic on my chest. We'll turn, put my back to it. And let's just, we'll turn, put my back to it, and watch the guys over here practicing one of my favorite sports in the world, and that is baseball. And let's just continue to walk right up to the 30-meter mark where I have this. 30 meters, or for us Americans, that's about 100 feet away. In fact, if I back up to here, I think I'm about exactly 100 feet from these cameras. And hopefully this picking up and is still clear. And again, I can't imagine any vlogging situation where anyone would go further from the camera. I suppose there could be some with seems like that would work a little better. If there's a where static goes away, or if it was clear this entire time. I'm really anxious to get these back into the editing suite and see where we end up in this whole process. This is going to conclude the outdoor portion of the test of this Yelangu microphone. Ultimately, what are my impressions of the microphone? Well, I'm using it right now and I actually enjoy it. It's small, it's light, it's very, very convenient. I like that it has the onboard microphone, much similar to the other name brand that it is in competition with. Do I like it better than my Azden Pro mic? Yes and no. I really prefer the Azden in the distance I can get from my camera, but it doesn't have the volume or the clarity that this microphone does have. I'm very impressed with the volume of the signal that comes out of this Yelangu microphone. With that Azden Pro mic, the signal is so quiet that I need to boost up the sound enough that I pick up a background hiss, just the background hiss that is just present in that signal. I don't seem to be having that issue with this microphone. This section, this closing section, I am equalizing and doing my other normal tricks in Fairlight in DaVinci Resolve to enhance the voice, to make it sound better and something that is easier listenable on YouTube. Ultimately, can I recommend this microphone? I can. For less than $100, you can get a 2.4 gigahertz mic that seems to be devoid of almost any interference. Some limitations on signal distance, but I have a feeling that's not so much this microphone as it is that 2.4 gigahertz signal. All in all, I can say I'm happy I have it, and it's something, if you're on a budget, that I'd recommend for you. I've done some other gear reviews, and if you're interested, they should be popping up on the screen right about now. As always, thanks for joining me. I'm James Fisher, and this is Vintage Illumination Photography.